Hey, it's Jeff Sauer here from jefflytics.com, and this video is on behalf of ppccourse.com. And what I want to talk to you about is a question that came in from one of our students in PPC Course about AdWords budgets. In particular, this student was running up against limitations with their budget in AdWords. Basically, they had two campaigns that they were running traffic to, and they found that they couldn't send a maximum amount of traffic to either of these campaigns because they spent their daily budget way too quickly in the day, and there was no budget left over to maximize the number of clicks they received. This is a really common problem within AdWords for people who are just getting their budget straight. And it's something where there's a quick solution and then there's the right solution. The quick solution might be to knee-jerk react and to up your spend, just to up your budget, or ask your boss for an increased budget, or ask the owner of your company. Or if you're the owner of the company, it's to just spend more money. And then the right way to do it is to analyze which of these campaigns is performing well and make adjustments accordingly. And so I put together a video that shows you exactly how I go through this thought process, how I think about where we can optimize, where we can make improvements, and give you a little framework and a mindset exercise so you can decide whether or not you should increase budget, whether you should split your budget evenly, or whether you should do the right thing, the thing that may not be intuitive to you, but what's going to give you the best results. So watch along if you want to see exactly how I approach any budget decision that happens in Google AdWords. And stick around to the end where I give a bonus article about the only 3 paid search strategies that you'll ever need.
So what do you do when your Google AdWords campaigns are limited by budget? This video talks about AdWords budgets, specifically about how do you deal with the budgets that you have in your AdWords account and what happens when you get some messages that you don't fully understand. What do you do then? Now, most companies think of budgets in a monthly paradigm. Basically, they think, okay, each month we're going to be able to spend this much money on advertising or whatever they're spending money on, and so they think about it in a monthly perspective. On the other hand, in Google AdWords, they set your budgets on a daily basis. And so generally speaking, if you want to divide out your monthly budget into a daily budget, the rule of thumb is you divide your monthly budget into 30 in order to get your daily budget. Or if you want to take the official Google approach, which we linked to in this video, you can see that it's 30.4 days per month you want to divide it by, and Google gives an example here as to how it should work. But I'm going to give an example that I think is a little bit more relevant for you. Say that your budget is $10,000 that you're willing to spend per month on Google AdWords. Now your daily budget would be the $10,000 divided by 30.4, which is in this case $328.95 per day. Now you might get a more round number if you choose to divide by 30, but either way, this is essentially what your plan will be for your budget. Now, the thing that gets a little bit difficult is how do you divide your budget amongst your campaigns? Now, if you look here, here's an example of a Google AdWords campaign, and we have the $328 budget, and we've divided it by 2 between our 2 campaigns, and we've just divided it equally. And that generally will work if you're just getting started in AdWords, but you'll soon find that there is some changes you might want to make if you want to optimize that budget. But let's just say that you divide it by 2 because it's the safe way to go, and it's basically saying, okay, we're going to divide it equally because we don't really know how these campaigns are going to perform. That is a good way to go and a good way to do this. But as you add more campaigns, which we recommend doing in PPC Course, and I think others will recommend that as well, basically the more relevant you want your targeting to be, the more precise you want to target people, the more you're going to want to have different campaigns. And the more campaigns you have, that means there's less budget available per campaign, and you might run up against some limits saying, oh, we have spent all your budget. You need to add more budget in order to get more clicks. That's a warning that people often get in Google. And so more often than not, when you divide your budget equally, you're going to find that some campaigns are being limited by budget. Now, we had a question come into our PPC course forums from Dale, who says he has an account where there's 2 campaigns, and each of them are using their budget each day, and he's getting this limited by budget notification that's being displayed. Dale continues to say, due to budget constraints, there's not enough money to fund both campaigns at the recommended budget. Now, would you suggest keeping it running as it is, or would you put all the budget into one of the campaigns and pause the other? And this is a great question from Dale. It's one that comes up all the time. And the answer, I think, really depends on how campaigns are performing and how you want to approach things and what your objectives are as an advertiser. So before I can give an answer to this question, I need to ask my own question. Are both campaigns getting the desired results that you want? Because in reality, you want to focus on results. That's all that really matters in this whole game of Google AdWords. So I'm going to share with you some specific examples, and hopefully that helps draw the point home. Now, which one of these campaigns is better? You have campaign 1 and 2. We divide the budget equally. One gets 100 clicks, the other one gets 20 clicks, and you can see the cost per click is much lower. Now, if this is all you're going on, the one with the lower cost per click is better because you're getting more bang for your buck. You're getting more action out of the amount of money that's being put out there. And this is basically what Google will display to you, and that's how all of their metrics work, is basically they're telling you that you should go after the one that gets the most clicks. Now, a more savvy advertiser will look at this and say, well, I don't care about clicks. I care about conversions. I care about the actions that people take. And they'll expand their view in Google AdWords, and they'll include a conversions column. And as you can see in here, we've added a conversions column and a cost per conversion column. And suddenly the one that was $8 per click doesn't really look as bad, does it? It actually looks pretty good because you're getting more conversions at less money. So when you have a fixed budget campaign, this one's getting 10 conversions and the other one's only getting 5, and you're paying about half as much money per conversion as a result of that. Now, which one looks better in this case? Absolutely, campaign number 2 looks so much better. And all that it comes down to is understanding what your objectives are and then seeing which one's going to get you the best results for those objectives. And so you want to focus on the campaigns that best meet your objectives. You want to spend more money when things are working. And if nothing is working, then you need to optimize and you need to adjust. That's how all of this works. You need to make optimizations and adjustments along the way in order to get better results out of the hand that you're dealt. Now, it's not always going to be perfect, but as long as you have tweaks that you can make, as long as there's improvements to be made, you are going to see the results get better and better. Now, let's talk about how do we improve the baseline here of our 2 campaigns. One is very well conversion focused, the other one is more click focused. If we were to make an adjustment where we brought down the budget for campaign 1 and we increased the budget for campaign 2, what might we expect for results? Let's take a look at it. So we brought campaign 1 down to just $100 a day, and everything else remained the same, but we ended up getting fewer clicks because we spent less money, same cost per click, and we got fewer conversions. So we only got 3 conversions in this case, and cost per conversion is pretty much the same as what it was. Now, on the other hand, if campaign 2, if we add more budget there, then we're going to get more clicks. We're going to pay about the same amount of money per click, but we're going to get more conversions at a similar cost per conversion. And so in this case, we've increased our conversions by 4 on campaign 2, and we've only lost 2 conversions on campaign number 1. So the same budget brought in 2 more conversions. And it was really that simple, just changing one number to basically say, okay, we're going to still spend the same amount of money, but we're going to spend it differently, brought in more conversions. Now, you could do this where you eliminate the budget almost entirely on campaign number 1. You could increase it on campaign 2. You can do things like bid management. You can check your quality scores and see if you can improve them. There's a bunch of different things you can do in order to even make this better. But generally speaking, somebody who just takes things at face value and just assumes that everything should be equal is going to get worse results than somebody who goes and digs deeper and tries to figure out how do we get more of the action that we want people to take. In this case, how do we get more conversions? That's really the fundamental basis of how all this works, is that you want more of the good things. You want more conversions, and this can do it for you. Now, one of these tweaks alone can increase your conversions by 20%. It can increase it by 15%. It can increase it by 50%. There's no way to know exactly what's going to happen until you make these adjustments, but these little things add up. And soon, if you make several 15% adjustments, you have received 100% more conversions, all from changing a few little numbers, all from basically dividing your budget towards what's working as opposed to doing it arbitrarily and saying, I'm going to split it down the middle. And so that's what you need to do. You need to be very clear with what your objectives are. You need to make sure you're measuring your objectives by having conversion rates turned on and the ability to track conversions. And then you make adjustments based on what's working. And you keep on making adjustments, and your results will improve significantly. You will get better results if you follow this process, and it's not just about your campaign budget. It's every single metric you see in Google AdWords. There's always a way to make it better. There's always ways that you can make improvements. And in most cases, there's no extra budget that's required. It's basically just maximizing the value you get from your existing budget. No extra budget required to do many of these things. Now, if you want to know more about AdWords bid strategies and just overall strategies you need for managing a PPC account, there's an article we wrote at Jefflytics that will give you some really cool insights into the 3 different strategies you'll want to employ to be successful in PPC. And really only 2 of them really matter. And basically, I just demonstrated one of those strategies. So make sure you check out that blog post and get more information about PPC strategy. And while you're at it, subscribe to our newsletter at ppccourse.com, where we are going to give you insightful tips every single week in your inbox and keep you up to date and informed with how do you get better at PPC 1 week at a time. So make sure you subscribe there, and I look forward to talking to you in our next video.